couple is phenomenal, and they're gonna talk about an area where they really specialize. Now, we always do great job for in all areas of the business, but Daniel and Jamie are just excellent at securities, and because of that, they get referrals, and they get asked, will you go help my friend the same way you help me? And they have a lot of securities, and that's the way Daniel's business runs, because he's built that business over almost a 3-decade time. Okay, guys. So Daniel and Jamie not only help clients, but they've helped develop leaders. They've got 3 RVPs in their business. A couple of them make over $200,000 a year, which is phenomenal, because they've taught them what they do, and they've attracted people because of their excitement and their expertise in the area. But guys, they got almost a quarter of $1 billion assets under management. That's a lot of clients they're helping, and that is huge. And they do that by doing a great job, and they keep those clients. It's not like they get new clients and then they turn them around real fast, but they develop and keep clients because they're fantastic. Then because of that, guys, when you help people, Primerica can send you checks, and so they make over $500,000 a year. And I talked to Daniel the other day, and he's got a minimum in his head, a number that he's going to make every month, no matter what. Period. That's the minimum. Okay, and that number's continued to grow over the years, partly because the securities business pays residual income, like developing RVPs. That is a residual income. Securities does the same thing. And guys, I want to turn it over now to Daniel, but take notes, listen, because he's going to teach you what he does. Thank you, Daniel.
If a guy that loves Alabama football can make it, then just about anybody can make it, right? I mean, you would think so. Look at that. I mean, Kevin Patrick making it in Primerica, right? Hey, don't feel bad. I know I'm giving Kevin a hard time. Don't feel too bad for Kevin. Fortunately, Kevin is old enough to remember when Bama was good in football. That's one of the good things about getting old, Kevin, is you can still remember the days when Alabama was good in football. Right, Kevin? All right. So with that, now don't get me wrong. Look here. Look at Kevin. Look how sharp Kevin looked. D talked earlier. He talked about if you're gonna go build a big business and you're young, you look sharp. If you want to know how to look sharp, follow this guy on social media. Right? Look at that. I mean, if I could look that good and something like that, I'd probably wear something like that. But see, I can't pull that off. So we're just going with the button-up shirt today, right? So. Honestly, let's talk about keys to winning in the investment business. Number one, keeping it simple. When you think about investments and things like that, one of the keys that I would tell you is you want to make it simple enough for your clients to understand. Clients, they need to walk away thinking that you're educated, you're smart about what you're doing and that kind of thing, but they don't need to walk away going, dude, I'm so confused about everything that he just tried to tell me. You don't need to make them an expert. You want to make it simple for them, simple enough for them to understand. And so one of the ways that I explain mutual funds is I keep it really simple, and I even tell clients, hey, mutual funds aren't as complicated as people like to make them out to be. Basically, what a mutual fund is, it's called a mutual fund because it's mutually funded. You got some people putting as little as $50 a month into this. You got people putting in $500 a month. And you got other people dropping $100,000 or more into this mutual fund at any given time. You got thousands, really millions of people investing into this mutual fund. And inside of this mutual fund are professional money managers that determine where this money is to be invested. They're people that's got a lot more time. See, you and I are going to work and we're going to the office. We're doing things that we've got to do. All they do is sit around and say, hey, where are we going to invest this million and billions of dollars that we have? And they're analyzing companies and looking at the CEOs and looking at the companies that actually supply to those companies before they determine if they want to invest in those companies or not. So they're doing all of this analysis, and we're letting them do all of this analysis, right, on our behalf, all right? And so they say, all right, well, hey, based on all the analysis we've done, we want to invest in these different companies. Maybe it's Coca-Cola, maybe it's Starbucks, maybe it's Verizon, maybe it's Amazon. And this is a good time to ask the clients a question. You may ask them the question of, hey, what's the chances of these companies making money over the next 10, 20, and 30 years? And the client always says, it's great. All right, do we think Amazon's going to make money over the next 10, 20, 30 years? Absolutely. All right. And so they say, what's the chances that these companies making money over the next 30 years if you got 30 years into retirement? Their answer is great. Well, how would you like to own a small piece of that? Okay, and so that's basically how mutual funds work. Is you own a small piece of it, and by being in one mutual fund, you're spread across 100 to 300 different companies just by being in that one mutual fund. And as those companies make money, that comes back here to the mutual fund managers. The mutual fund managers charge a small fee to manage the fund. Usually, it's around 1%, and everything else comes back to you in the form of a shareholder. Has typically been at a 9 to 12% rate of return. See, this is what I call the spider. It looks like you got a spider body, then you got legs going out everywhere, right? And so, but ultimately, I even tell clients, I say, it's like us taking our money and piling it up here on this table from all kinds of different people, giving that to somebody a lot smarter than us in this particular area that's got more time to deal with it, and letting them invest that into the American economy. And so that's in a nutshell how a mutual fund works. So it's not as complicated as people make it out to be. The next key to winning in business is you got to have integrity. All right. What would you do for your mom when you're sitting down with a client? If it's an older lady, maybe it's a widow. What would you do for your mom? If you wouldn't have your mom going in that product, then you shouldn't put your client in that product. What would you do for yourself if you're in that exact same situation? And so integrity is part of the business about doing what's right 100% of the time. And the great thing about Primerica is we get rewarded for being able to do that. The next I tell you is promotions. You want to get promoted throughout the business, all right? If you're not a district leader yet, get your butt to district leader as quickly as possible, okay? Dee talked about taking 3 months to get to district leader. It took me about 3 months to get to district leader. Well, guess what? If you're 3 years in and you're not to district leader yet, you can still go do it the next 3 months. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter where you've been, all right? It only matters where you're going. So what are you going to do over the next 3 months, all right? So you want to get promoted. Why do we want to get promoted? Because you only get promoted by helping people, number one, but also getting promoted allows you to make more money doing the exact same thing that you were doing before, right? And so if we look at this, and you say, okay, $100,000 investment in mutual funds or $100,000 in variable annuities, as a district leader, $100,000 in mutual funds pays you $1,050. As a regional leader, it pays you $1,275. Well, in a variable annuity, it pays you, and showing you variable annuity right for the client, but it pays you $1,750 as a district leader, pays you $2,125 as a regional leader, and $3,100 as a regional vice president. And so this is an easy answer, easy question with an easy answer, and that is, if you're going to go do the work, would you rather get paid $1,750 to do it or $3,100 to do it? And I think the answer to that for everyone is, hey, if I'm going to go do the work, I'd rather get paid $3,100 to do it. Well, go get promoted, all right? Get promoted to district leader, get promoted to regional leader so that you can get the higher income so that you can go help more families, stay in business and help more families. The next key to winning in the investment business is residual income. You know, residual income is the king, all right? When you look at our business, what I love about our business more than anything is residual income. And we've got so many different areas that creates residual income. You've got PACs, which stands for pre-authorized checking. And that's where we go in and we draft clients' accounts once a month or maybe twice a month. And they move money from their checking account to their investment account. Now, is that good for the client? Absolutely, that's good for the client. Is that good for you? Absolutely. And so we get paid on that every single month. There's 401ks where clients have money going in on a regular basis. That creates residual income. There's managed accounts, which creates great residual income. And many of you guys are using that. And then there's what's called 12B1s. And 12B1s is nothing more than the company saying, let's take a look at how much assets under management this particular agent has, and then let's send them a check. All right, I like that thought process. I like the way that works. Right, Paul talked about the fact that we got almost $250 million, which still blows my mind. I got started when I was 23 years old. If you had told me when I was 23 years old I was going to have $250 million in assets under management in my organization, later on in my career, that just blown me away, right? But $250 million, and so when they pay me a small percentage of that money, it becomes a pretty nice little paycheck. So let's look and see what that looks like. So if you had, let's say someone had $35 million in assets under management, personal assets under management, and you go, well, Daniel, that's a lot of money. And you're right, that is a lot of money, all right? But it builds up over a period of time. I'll give you an example. I looked at some numbers. Allison Hensley, because you think, $35 million, is that reasonable? I mean, can you get $35 million of assets under management personal? Well, Allison Hensley has $55 million of assets under management personal, right? Paul Shirk has $73 million. Paul Shirk's really humble. You won't hear him talk about it very much, but $73 million of assets under management. All right. So can you get $35 million? Absolutely. So what if somebody did that by the time they were 40 years old? They had $35 million at 40 years old. They're going to get paid $4,000 a month for having that assets under management. That's just residual income before they get out of bed, right? At 40. But the neat thing about it is, if we look at the rule of 72 and we say, hey, when this money doubles, let's say we had 12% rate of return on the money, and it doubles every 6 years. Well, when the client's money doubles, so does your trail, so does your 12B1s, right? And so at 46, you'd have $8,000 a month. Now, is that something you get excited about, is have $8,000 a month coming in before you get out of bed? I think most people get excited about that, right? At 52, that's $16,000 a month. At 58, that's $32,000 a month. And how would you like to go into retirement at 64 years old and have $64,000 per month before your butt got out of bed, right? Now, I know what you're thinking. A lot of you thinking, you pay me $64,000 a month before I get out of bed, I just might not get out of bed. And that's the great thing about it. You don't have to, right? You get to enjoy life. You get to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And that is the great thing about Primerica and the business opportunity that you have in front of you. Now, you think, man, is that reasonable? There are tons of people, all right, that have done that. You can go look at asset. There's an asset under management page on the first page of Primerica. There's a tab where you can go look at the AUM leaders. And it'll blow your mind how much assets under management people have. All right, so go check that out and put yourself in there. Find and go. Okay, here's where I'm going to be next year. Here's where I'm going to be 5 years from now. Here's where I'm going to be from 10 years from now. Because it will absolutely, positively change your life. Next key to winning in the investment business is invest in your business. All right. And notice your is capitalized there because this is your business. It's not your upline's business. If they're not running contests, that's okay. You can run contests. I was running contests when I was a district leader. All right. So invest in your business. I'll show you an example. I have a golf tournament once a year, and it's for clients and veterans. All right. And so we do it on 9/11, and clients can come and bring a guest, or veterans can come and bring a guest. Everybody plays for free. Okay. The golfing community is a great investment community. Honestly, okay? And so I've had people come to this over the years, and they bring a guest. So this, in the last 5 months, the last 12 months, really, I had two different examples. One, a client came, brought somebody, an eye doctor, all right? The eye doctor ends up going, hey, I need to talk with you. We did his 401k. They just kicked off about 2 weeks ago, and we're going to do his personal business, which is going to be at least $500,000. All right. I had another client that came and brought somebody, and I knew this guy, but didn't know him. I knew him okay, but not great. He said, "Hey, I want to talk to you about my investments." Between he and his wife, we've invested over $800,000 already. All right, and I really believe that this golf tournament was a huge part of that. All right, this is what it looks like. So we have 72 players that play every year. All right, and so here's what it looks like. Now, if you're going to do something like this, you have to do it right. And it might not be a golf tournament for you. I spend $6,000 every year on this. All right, around $6,000 is what it usually costs me. And it might not be a golf tournament for you. Maybe it's a play, and you invite a bunch of people to come to a local play or whatever. But think outside the box on what you can do to get people there. Invite your guests and allow them to bring one. Invite your clients and allow them to bring one guest with you. Okay. Get to district leader. If you're not a district leader, get there. All right. This business is built on becoming a district leader and then building other people to be district leaders. That's how you get to regional vice president. Love what you do. All right. You got to love this thing. You got to love showing people the rule of 72. You got to love changing people's lives. You got to love being able to show parents how to send their kids to college debt free. You got to love the fact that we show people how to retire as millionaires, right? One of my phrases that I use on a regular basis is we show middle income Americans how to retire wealthy. We show middle income Americans how to retire wealthy. All right, that's kind of my tagline if I'm in a networking meeting or something like that. And it is unbelievable to be able to do that. We show middle income Americans how to retire wealthy. You got to educate yourself. You got to be good in other areas. You know, I'm not an expert when it comes to Social Security, but I know more about Social Security than 99% of the people in America today. All right, because that's something that I can educate my clients about and say, hey, you should at least ask this question. You should ask about this, that type thing. And you want to be a resource to your clients in all areas if possible. But here's the thing is, you have to understand that you deserve greatness, all right? Quit. It doesn't matter what your background is. That stuff's in the past, all right? You deserve greatness. And here's what I'll tell you. You can do it, all right? You deserve it. And if you don't deserve it, all right, let's pretend for a second I'm wrong and you don't deserve it. Well, guess what I do know? I know that your spouse probably deserves it, right? So go do it for them. And maybe your spouse isn't... Maybe your spouse doesn't deserve it. I don't know. My spouse deserved it. I was willing to go out and work hard for my spouse so that she could have a great lifestyle. But if your spouse, even if your spouse doesn't deserve it, your family deserves it, right? So go change your life. Go change your family's life. And here's what I can tell you is just make it happen. You can make it happen, all right? So if we look at that, if we look at all these keys to winning in business, and we look at the first letter of all the things that I just showed you, look at there. It spells out Kilp Ridley. All right? And so here's what I'm here to tell you. All right? This is, I think they call it an acrostic, where the first letter spells out a word. So keys to winning in the investment business is be more like freaking Kilp, right? Be like Kilp Ridley. That's the key. If you don't get anything else out of the day, think about Kilp and Carol and go, look, I want to be more like them. All right? And I'd love to be more like them, right? And we're working hard to be more like them. But no excuses. You can make a difference or you can make excuses. Excuses are easier. You can make money or you can make excuses. Excuses are still easier. You can make it happen or you can make excuses. Excuses are still easier, right? But I'm here to tell you, I challenge you to get rid of the excuses. No excuses. Go make it happen for you and your family. We love being in business with you. Now, I'm going to transition. There's my contact information. Go Vols, right? There's my email address. That's another little thing that now I've got the dgilbert@primerica.com. This is professional email that I give to clients, all right? But when I'm out in the in a public setting or somebody at the store asks me for my email address, this is what I give them, all right? And they go, well, hey, it sounds like I need to talk to you. And yeah, it sounds like you're right. So it's RothIRAguy@gmail.com.